When you think of Boston, one of the first things that comes to mind is, yeah, it's expensive. The rent is no joke. But that's just one piece of the puzzle, right? So we're going to dig into the real story. What does it actually cost to live there day to day, beyond that giant run check? And really, this whole deep dive was sparked by this perfect question from a Reddit user. They get that housing is pricey, but they want to know about everything else, the stuff that makes up a life, groceries, gas, a night out. How does it all stack up? So here's our game plan. We're going to look beyond the rent, pinpoint the expenses that are just shocking. Then we'll dive into the great debate over food, uncover some savings you might not expect, and finally, tackle the big one. Is the cost actually worth the quality of life? All right, let's get into it. Forget real estate for a minute. We're focusing on what Bostonians themselves say about the daily grind of paying for things in their city. First up, let's talk about the things that pretty much everyone agrees on. These are the expenses that cause some serious sticker shock, the ones that make you do a double take at your bank statement. So across all the discussions, there was one cost that came up over and over again. It's the one thing that seems to leave everyone, new and old residents alike, just speechless. Any guesses? Yup, there it is, $38,000. That's the annual bill one user reported for just one child in full-time daycare. I mean, wow. It's not just an expense. Bostonians talk about it like it's in a whole other dimension. And this quote just puts it into perspective perfectly. We're not talking about a line item that's like a car payment. We're talking about a cost that, for this family and many others, is bigger than their mortgage. Just let that sink in. Here's another way to think about it, which is just mind-blowing. It's like going out and buying a brand new car every single year, except, you don't get a car at the end of it. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The costs are so extreme, they actually warp the market. Think about it. It's so expensive that hiring a full-time private nanny, what most people would consider a luxury, is actually the cheaper, more logical financial decision. That's just wild. And look, while childcare is definitely the heavyweight champion of wallet busters, it's not alone. People consistently brought up their utility bills, especially these skyrocketing delivery fees that get tacked onto gas and electricity. Okay, so we've covered the things everyone agrees are painful. But let's shift gears, because when it comes to the price of food, Bostonians are completely split. It's a huge debate. And this really is a tale of two cities, or two stomachs, I guess. On one hand, you have people swearing that groceries are a bargain, thanks to places like Market Basket. They're saying it's cheaper than parts of Texas and the Midwest. But then you look at the other side, dining out, and you hear these stories of a $38 chicken parm, a $26 bowl of soup. It's like two totally different economic realities. And honestly, this comment just captures the dining out experience perfectly. This person goes to Iceland, literally one of the most expensive countries on earth, and thinks the restaurant prices are normal. And then comes that, oh, moment. That's when you know your perception of money has been completely reshaped by Boston prices. But it's not all doom and gloom and expensive dinners. Buried in all the complaints are some actual financial bright spots, some things that are surprisingly affordable. Let's take a look. And there are some real perks here. You've got no extra city or county sales tax, no tax on most clothing items, and then there's the big one, transportation. So many people can live without a car, which is a massive savings. But even if you have one, people point out that gas is often cheaper than the national average. And car insurance is actually pretty competitive. So this brings us to the final calculation. The big question that hangs over all of this. When you add up all the pros and cons, all the costs and the savings, is it worth it? Does the quality of life in Boston justify the price tag? So why do people stay and pay the price? Well, the answers are all about what you get for your money. It's about living in a city with a highly educated population, having world-class museums and music at your fingertips. It's the walkability, the amazing medical care, and for a lot of people, it's just home, deep family and community ties. These are the things that don't have a price tag. And, after all the back and forth, it really can be boiled down to a simple feeling. This user just says it plain and clear. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's 100% worth it. And so that's where we'll leave it, because living in an expensive city like Boston is a constant balancing act between cost and what you get in return. It really makes you wonder, for any of us, no matter where we live, where's that line between a high cost of living and a high cost of value? That's a calculation everyone has to make for themselves.